WunderGraph is a enterprise-grade Firebase alternative. So what exactly do we mean by enterprise-grade? So first of all, there's no vendor lock-in. So we're going to be 100% open source very soon. Second, we integrate very well with open standards. So you can bring your own APIs, for example, a REST API using Open API specification. You can bring your own GraphQL APIs. You can bring your own authentication providers using OpenID Connect. You can use S3 for file storage. And you can maintain and bring your own Postgres and MySQL database for file storage. And we turn those into real-time APIs in seconds. Finally, we focus heavily on the developer experience and productivity. So that means we give you end-to-end type safety on the API clients, and all configuration can be made through code. So let's have a quick look at the architecture of WunderGraph. So what we do is we have the concept of the virtual graph, which is simply a representation of all your services using the GraphQL query language. So that means we take your database, your third-party APIs, and your microservices. We take all those together and merge them into a virtual graph. So that virtual graph is simply a GraphQL representation of all the services and all the data that is available to you. With that virtual graph, we add your identity provider for authentication and your S3 for file storage. You can add some custom business logic, for example, using hooks. And that gives us the API surface to work with. Finally, what you do is you define your operations like authenticate a user or create a post, add a comment, like something, etc. And once these operations are defined, WunderGraph automatically generates a type-safe client for any language or framework you want. So this client knows exactly how the API looks like. It knows every input and output for each operation. So it's 100% type-safe and very secure. The client also handles authentication, uploads the files, and does everything. So you don't have to worry about all these things. So it's kind of like using Firebase, but you can have your own database, your own microservices, you can bring your own custom business logic, and you're not married to a specific vendor. So what's left for the developer is you focus on your business logic, you bring and own your own database, you own your microservices, and we handle all the middleware parts. So how does the development workflow look like with WunderGraph? So our goal is to automate everything throughout the development process that we can automate. So merging the data sources, generating the secure APIs, input validation, authentication, authorization, and client generation, that is all managed and automated by WunderGraph. So what is left to the developer is 1, you configure your data sources, 2, you define the operations, and 3, you use the generated client, add your user interface, and you're done. So 4 quick facts on WunderGraph. One is it works very, very easily on localhost. So you can do Wunder control in it, and it gives you a new project and you can start within a minute. It is very easy to customize. So you can use the hooks to add custom business logic, or just add your own microservices, use your own REST or GraphQL API if you want more customization. You're not forced into a specific stack or vendor because we are relying on those open standards. So for example, through the use of OpenAPI Connect, OpenID Connect, it actually means you can use any OpenID Connect compatible authentication provider. And that means not locking you into one specific stack. Finally, you get true end-to-end type safety. So because we have the virtual graph and it's typed, it has a GraphQL schema, and the operations are GraphQL queries and mutations and subscriptions. Those are also typed. And from those you generate the client. It means the client is 100% type safe. It knows exactly how to authenticate a user. It knows exactly the inputs and outputs of every operation. So it's very, very easy to use. All right, so let's have a quick look at the demo. So here I do the first step. I introspect my services. I add them to the virtual graph. So I say, hey, I want to have the SpaceX API and add it to my virtual graph. Second step, I now define my operations. So here I want to query the past launches. So I use the launches past field. And then once this operation is defined, I can use the generated client via use query past launches. And that is a wrapper around the client. It securely talks to my API. It handles authentication, caching, and everything. So nothing to worry about. I can now just build my user interface and I'm done. I can ship to production. So what are the next steps? You could try it out yourself. Go to wundergraph.com/quickstart and just build something. You could have a question or want to start a discussion. So you could go to wundergraph.com/discord. And finally, you might want to have support or you need a managed service. So in that case, go to wundergraph.com/pricing and start a discussion with one of our experts. All right. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you soon.